Hi, my name is Carrie Cedergren. This is my 23rd year at LFA, and over about the last 7 years, I've expanded from chemistry classes to now biochemistry classes, where the main focus is doing individual research projects. And the projects that the students will work on will be something that hasn't really been done before, hasn't been published, and it gives them a chance to try something in the lab. They can try experimenting. They learn the scientific method, how to evaluate their data, come up with new solutions, new ideas, tweak their procedures a little bit, and then maybe make improvements on the project, whatever the project is that they're doing. Some of the projects that I've done in the past involve upcycling plant-based material and turning it into things like plastics. Plastics are an issue in this world where we have excess plastic in the oceans, and even now it's being found in humans. Most humans have little small nano or microplastics in their body, and so we were thinking that maybe if we make a plastic out of a material that's already a plant-based material, if it does in fact make its way into the oceans or the food supply, then at least it's something that's not as permanent like the plastics in the ocean made from petroleum are. So that's one of the projects. There's a lot of projects. Your students can tell you a little bit about that some other time. We haven't gotten to the point where we're all working on our own individual projects yet, because we haven't learned enough about the chemistry behind it. We've learned some biochemistry, some organic chemistry. You kind of have to know how these structures work and the functional groups, et cetera, et cetera. And so we're still working on that. But at the same time, I don't want to just lecture, so we have done some experiments. They've grown some plants. They've extracted chemicals called anthocyanins, which are good antioxidants found in red, purple, blue type plants. We've extracted them a couple of times, and we're going to put them on a machine that we have called an HPLC. We don't have it ready to go quite yet, but they'll have some experience working on that. We've worked with a lyophilizer, which is like a freeze dryer. And of course, lots of just general lab techniques they've been working on, centrifugation, rotation, and it's kind of fun. They get to be pretty independent. They like that a lot. Soon, within the next 2 or 3 weeks, they'll pick out what project that they want to focus on, and then they'll focus on that the rest of the school year. By the end of the year, in May, we'll have a science symposium, and they'll stand out in the hallway, dressed up, ready to present a poster to the community of their own original research that hasn't been published before. It's kind of exciting for them. They get a little bit nervous, but every year my students have been able to pull it off, and I'm sure this year will be no exception to that. Let me take you around the lab. You can see a few things that we have in here. These are 2 plants that are just out of the lyophilizer. They're ready to be ground up and extracted. Here's some freshly made plastic made from seaweed. Maybe potato starch, and then some vegetarian agar. Here's another one, and it has to cure all weekend long. Over the weekend, it'll sort of thin out, and then we'll test the various tensile strength, or is it flexible, is it rigid, and we'll compare all the different recipes, all the different amounts of the carrageenan or the flour or the glycerol, and then see how it affects the properties of each of the different types of plastic. This is the biochemistry room. It's sort of a project room. Right here is the HPLC. Sometimes we do experiments that need a hood, so I have a hood right there as well. And on the bench top is that spaceship looking thing. That is a centrifuge.
Okay.
Oh, right on the dot, Phil. 9.00. But it's too hard to get it. We're trying to ensure that those are things like acid on acid.
I'm so tempted. I'm so
But the thing I'm gonna make, I'm not gonna do it. I did airball one yesterday. You did.
It's hot.
I also
Go ahead.
I've been pumping on my shit too.
No, I suppose not how it's bad. I'm not gonna lie.
What are you doing? Why is it like so
I do.
I mean, I can do whatever.
Should I just
Let's see
like
it.
smile? Oh.
Let's see yours.
Mine
the
definitely
other?
looks better.
Well, they'll have different properties. That's what we're trying to figure out. Very
I think
good.
mine's better.